I'm an interpreter here at Kensington Metropark Nature Center. Welcome to Science with the Metroparks, where we do short and easy science experiments that you can do at home with things you can find around the house or in your pantry. Today on Science with the Metroparks, I'll show you how to make your very own crystals. Now before we get started, I just want to make sure that you have parent supervision to do any science experimenting today. Ready? Okay, let's get started. These are the materials we will need to make our crystals. We need salt, food coloring, measuring cup, string or yarn, a stick, craft stick, or pencil that's long enough to be balanced over the top of your cup. We need a cup, a chenille stem, scissors, a spoon for stirring, some really warm water, a table, and a plastic tablecloth. Sometimes science can get a little bit messy. And if science gets a little bit messy, we need to make sure that we have things in place, some precautions to make sure that we don't make a big mess. You want to pick a space that's okay to do a science experiment, and you want to put something down like a tablecloth that's going to keep whatever table you're using nice and safe. Now that we've got our materials ready, let's go ahead and do some experimenting. Step number one for making our crystals. We need to fill a cup with 1 cup of warm water. So you can measure out that warm water there and put it into your cup. Step number 2. While mixing, you need to slowly pour in 2/3 cup of salt. You want to continue to mix while you're pouring in the salt. And then after you have all the salt poured in, you want to keep mixing until all the salt has dissolved in your warm water. Now this is a time, if you'd like to, you can add some food coloring to your salt water. But I found in times that I've done this experiment that the food coloring doesn't really change the color of the crystal that's created in the end. So it's pretty optional if you have some food coloring that you want to add. I'm going to add blue, and it's just going to change my salt water solution here to a blue color. Mix in that food coloring there, and make sure all my salt is dissolved. Our third step is to take our chenille stem and make it into a shape. I like to do a star shape, but you're welcome to make any shape you want. You can make a spiral, you can make a zigzag, you can make a tree, or a star like mine, a circle. What you want to be sure of though is that when you place it into your cup, that it's not going to hit any sides of your cup, that it's thin enough that it's going to gingerly sit in your cup. So, now that we have our star made, we need to go to step number 4. We're going to cut a piece of string or yarn, whatever you're using. And we need to tie that string to our shape. And then tie the string to our stick. What you want to make sure is that when you're tying this, that when you balance your stick onto your cup, that your shape is going to be below the top of the water line, and that your shape isn't touching the bottom of your cup or the sides of your cup. It just needs to be floating right in that water. All right, step number 5. We're going to put our shape into our solution. Make sure it goes down into that salt water there, and then it's hanging in that solution. Perfect. Step number 6. Here's the hard part. We need to wait. You need to find first a safe spot to store your crystal experiment. It needs to be in a spot that's away from people bumping into it, hitting it, or disturbing it. Now, depending on what type of salt you use, it takes different times for your crystals to start growing. You might see some effects in a couple minutes. You might see some effects in a couple hours. You might see crystals growing in 2-3 days. It might even take it a couple weeks. Observe your crystal growth each day and see how much it's growing. I made an example about 3 days ago, and I'm going to bring it up to show you what my crystals look like. So they're starting to grow here on the top of my string and my crystal shape. And I'm gonna let my water evaporate out of my cup. And until most of my water has evaporated and most of the crystals have grown on my shape, then I'll take it out of the cup. I'll remove the string from the shape and I'll hang it somewhere in my house. Display it for my family to see. Our last step, step 7, is to clean up. When you make a science experiment mess, you always need to be sure to clean up that science experiment mess. Well, everyone, I'm going to start cleaning up my mess here and find a spot to store my crystals. The video has information with it that has the materials for the experiment and the steps for the experiment. Thank you so much for watching Science with the Metroparks, and good luck experimenting, everyone.